When my son got fired, I laughed and said he'd always been all talk, no results. We threw a party for Mark's promotion while Jacob sat alone in his room. I told him he wasn't welcome downstairs because losers killed the vibe. My husband nodded. Mark earned the celebration. You've earned our disappointment. Jacob grabbed his keys without a word. I felt proud of our tough love. Jacob needed reality, not coddling. Mark had worked his way up to assistant manager at the bank. Jacob got himself fired from retail again. The difference was obvious to everyone except Jacob. Within days, Jacob started disappearing. When we asked where, he'd mumble something about helping neighbors. I rolled my eyes. Charity work won't pay bills, I told him. But every morning, he'd leave at 7 sharp, coming back at sunset covered in sawdust, reeking of wood stain. His fingernails were permanently dirty now. His clothes had stains I couldn't identify. Mark mentioned seeing Jacob at the old widow's house down the street, the elderly woman whose husband died last winter. Probably moving boxes for grocery money, my husband said dismissively. We agreed Jacob needed to aim higher than handyman work if he wanted real success. She was sweet, but she couldn't afford to pay much. Then strange things started happening. Expensive cars appeared at the widow's house daily. BMW, Mercedes, Lexus. People loading furniture into trucks. Jacob was always there, but never explained anything, just shrugged when we pressed for details. I started getting genuinely curious about what was happening over there. 1 month in, Jacob seemed different, focused, confident. He'd sketch furniture designs at our kitchen table, measuring and calculating with a precision I'd never seen before. The garage became his workshop, power tools running until midnight. The neighbors complained about the noise, but at least he wasn't moping anymore. Sometimes I'd catch him on the phone talking about wood types and stain colors. 2 months later, more mystery. Jacob bought new work clothes, steel-toed boots, tool belts, professional-grade equipment appeared in our garage. A truck showed up in the widow's driveway with Jacob behind the wheel. When we asked about money, he said things were looking up. My husband suspected drug dealing. What else explains sudden cash for a 24-year-old dropout? By month 3, Jacob moved out. Found his own place downtown, he said. A nice apartment, not some studio. We figured he'd landed some minimum wage job and was scraping by with roommates. Mark was thriving, getting promoted again to senior associate. Jacob was probably eating ramen and struggling with rent. But Jacob started showing up to dinners in designer jeans, new watch, nice leather boots. When pressed about work, he'd just smile and say business was good. Business? What business? He was 24 with a high school diploma and no marketable skills. The confidence in his voice made no sense. He even started offering to pay for dinner, which really confused us. Then last Tuesday, my world flipped. My neighbor handed me the local paper, pointing at the front page. There was Jacob, standing beside the elderly woman in a workshop filled with stunning handcrafted furniture. The headline read, Young Entrepreneur Honors Fallen Craftsman's Legacy. I read it twice, 3 times. The article described their booming furniture business, custom dining sets, selling for thousands, 6-month waiting lists, monthly revenue of $15,000. Jacob had learned woodworking from the widow, whose late husband left behind a workshop and 40 years of expertise. The business had started by selling the deceased husband's pieces, then evolved into custom work. My hands shook. All those months watching expensive cars, seeing furniture loaded into trucks, dismissing it as charity work. Jacob had been building something incredible while we called him a failure. I called immediately. Jacob, why didn't you tell us what you were really doing? His voice was calm, measured. Because you never asked, Mom. You decided I was worthless and stopped paying attention. Every time I tried sharing something positive, you shut me down. That hit like a punch. We'd been so focused on traditional success, we'd missed Jacob creating something extraordinary. The widow had seen potential we'd ignored. She'd offered him mentorship, partnership, and respect we'd withheld. The article mentioned expansion plans. Jacob had signed a lease on a larger workshop space. The handcrafted furniture business was hiring apprentices. The business we dismissed as charity work was becoming a legacy. My husband keeps texting Jacob, asking when he's moving back home. He's not, Jacob responds. Mark got his promotion to a bigger cubicle. I got something you never saw coming. A craft, a mentor, and success I built with my own hands.